Hello everyone, Cinderella, the movie everyone is talking about. I hear a lot of negative reviews of this rework of the classical fable we all heard in our infancy. And the critics are that it is too sweet a movie, or it is too loaded with feminism, or that the story is so different. Cinderella doesn't suffer, she is not treated as a servant, and there are no real conflicts, and the story is way too simple, the resolution is way too happy. Well, I must say that this is a rework, and so some liberties I think are allowed, and I actually enjoyed the movie. I do not think it is a bad movie. It is indeed loaded with feminism, but this is its direction, this is its intent. To make justice of several injustices that are present in the classical fable, and that were present in the time where Cinderella is set. And it is not a big movie which needs to be taken seriously. It's just a lighter movie, a more colored one, but I do not think it is naive. Several things are really interesting. For example, the psychology of the stepmother of Cinderella. I do not know if any other movie had ever explored it, but I really appreciated it. We discovered that her stepmother had a dream herself. She wanted to become a pianist. She had the passion of music, which then she abandoned for pursuing a more worldly idea of life, a more materialistic one, and she sings it in Material Girl. That was awesome. And this is not a naive point of view. This is a point of view which is commonly shared, even today. And the debate is not deplorable, and it is carried with serious insight. Right until the end, where it is true everything comes together and there is a perfect harmony with the antagonists, even with the king. It is true. But I think the way we arrive there are interesting. Also the psychology of the king and the queen, the psychology of the married life, of the importance of being listened to, the importance of not agreeing with someone. I think that was not naive. Then there is the God Fairy. I read a comment. They put in the God Fairy without even reference to LGBTQ's issues, without even a moral, without even a teaching. So some people criticize it for the preponderance of the ideology, while some others criticize it for its lack thereof. So when we insert in a movie an LGBTQ character, we do not need to explain all the story of the LGBTQ community and to convey to the viewers all the suffering and the pity. Absolutely not. The ingenuity of this choice of making the God Fairy a man, a transsexual man, and which was really a genius thing that made me curious and brought me to watch the movie in the first place. This was a strike of ingenuity, we say in Italian, just because they do not explain it, just because they say, look, this is the God Fairy, and you do not have to wonder particular things, to ask yourself some questions, because it is just that. This is the God Fairy, she has magic, she is awesome, and she sings as a goddess. That's it. We do not need to say other things, because that's what matters. We do not have to place some justifications. I was saying this is a movie that brings justice to several injustices, except for one. There is one thing which really annoyed me, and this is the reason why I upload this video in this channel about sexuality. Because there is always in the fables one aspect, at least one, Well, let's exclude the one of the sexual arousal, of course, but there is an aspect of love which is always misrepresented, which is always naive, which is the falling in love. The falling in love. How does love work? I had hoped that since they had fixed a lot of things, they had brought justice in this feminist ideology to a lot of things, to the god fairy, to the stepmother, to the dreams of Cinderella. She no longer dreams of being in a castle with a prince. She dreams to work, to become a manager, to hold a store. For example, I really appreciated the one observation that Cinderella made, which was what is the difference in going from living in a basement, in a life of boredom, and living in a castle, in a palace, but waiting all day for my husband to return from the hunt. So they brought justice to all these things except for one. They just kept one thing just exactly as it was in the fables. And this is, of course, love. Why? Because as in the fables, as in the fairy tales, Cinderella and the prince fall in love after 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. He sees her, he becomes interested, curious, he goes into the village and he sees her again. They have a 5-10 minutes talk and it's done. They are one for the other, or at least for the prince, but also for Cinderella, because 5 minutes later, these two strangers are dancing together and are singing Perfect of Ed Sheeran, by Ed Sheeran, a song which talks about love, which talks about marriage and children. So I see my future in your eyes, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are so deep in love, and I found a girl, I found the right one. How can you find the right one after 5 minutes of conversation? I do not know. And they are almost in tears, they hug and they dance, and it is supposed to be the sweetest moment in the movie. I was really pissed off by that, and as a matter of fact, as I was thinking, 5 minutes later, when the dance is over, they start to talk about the future plans, and they, of course, find they do not, they are so different, they are incomparable, and they begin to fight, and they separate. So I think there was a lot of emphasis in conveying the right teachings about women and about dreams and about work, but they failed one of the most important teachings, in my opinion, to young people, which is regarding sexuality, that before entering a love relationship with someone, you must know that person. You must know that person. Love is founded on knowledge of the other person.